The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Might Be Brews, Season 2, Episode 6, the podcast where we explore the people, places, and brews of the craft beer world. My name is John. With me, as always, now diagonal from me, Mr. Steve. How you doing?
Slightly askew and to the right.
And the man behind the board, my brother Taylor. How you doing, man?
What's up, man?
And if you can't tell, we are doing, this is a very special podcast for us. It's a first. We are recording on location in beautiful Exton, Pennsylvania. I don't know if today can be described as beautiful, though. It's been ridiculous.
It's been rugged.
On our time-space continuum, it's Thursday, and it's just been pouring in Chester County like crazy. Almost flooded the place. But we are coming to you from Stolen Sun Craft Brewing and Roasting Company here in Exton, Pennsylvania. And our guest today is owner and magic man, Jonathan Zangwill. How you doing, John?
Great. How you guys doing?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for doing this with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. It was like minute to minute as we passed through.
It's been crazy, man. All this rain. They told me when I got here, the bartenders, that the water was up to the curb, like just an inch, if that, from coming right into the pub.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of a floodplain here, so when the rain is like it was today, it pretty much rises super fast, and we have Category 1 million rapids that pass back back on the back side of the brewery, and we have dumpsters that are falling into the river on the front side of the brewery. And
it's crazy.
It's a mess.
I came here expecting to throw some sandbags. I was ready to go for you guys.
I appreciate that.
We were going to set it up.
We were, for sure. And this is a
But
fantastic...
if that starts happening, just use like gas and a flame and just walk away.
Get it out.
No, that's hilarious. But I love this space. This is a fantastic building.
It's really cool in here.
If anybody's ever been here, if you haven't been here, off Route 100 across from Target, kind of behind Audio Sensations in the UFC gym, it's a really nice space. It is a little hidden, but there's a nice big area downstairs in the tap room area. There's a nice upstairs area, and what I loved is I came here the other night with my family. You've got a little section hidden up here for the kids, which is fantastic. There's all these. My kids were in heaven. I know sometimes people are funny about kids and breweries and stuff like that, but there is a nice little corner section up here that you can help keep your kids occupied, and it seems like a very family-oriented place.
It is. We're a family. Kids need a place for their parents to drink beer, so hopefully we're filling that void.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
I like the upstairs atmosphere up here now. It overlooks the downstairs bar. The whole setup and layout of this place is very, very cool.
Thank you.
I like it a lot. It looks really, really nice in here.
When I first walked into the space, I think exactly what you see here is the only way that I saw it could work.
Yeah.
And it worked. So
it's absolutely wonderful. The way that it overlooks everything is just really, really neat up here. Really, really cool space. Really cool space. And you're right, it's totally hidden. What's up, dude?
I was going to ask, what was this space when you bought it? What was here before?
This used to be the backside of the gym, and the gym that's there, the UFC gym, they can only take up so much space. So this space was vacant for a long time, and I was looking for a location for years. And I finally gave up looking and said, get me into any, between townships and zoning and spending all kinds of money on lawyers. I said, get me into space making, creating, doing what I love to do. And we ended up here, which is the closest place to our house we looked at. We live literally 3 minutes from here.
That's great.
And, it was a cool space. I envisioned exactly what you see here. It's tiny, but as an engineer, I looked at it, and basically every square inch of this place has a purpose. So we waste nothing in here. Like literally, you can, if you look in the brewery, like the tanks are basically designed to fit exactly where they fit in the space that they're in. We've designed a nice little setup here, and we do what we can with what we got.
Working in a factory and moving some of that equipment, I can only imagine the nervousness as you were standing some of those tanks up.
It was
seeing how they fit in there. That
you
were
right.
Fun.
Yeah, it's tight. Everything's tight in there, but it's like so well put together and organized. You can just see, and I love the fact that like we're overlooking the whole process here, which is really neat too.
Yeah, and the window was probably happened late in the game that we actually put a window here, and it's awesome.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. It's like as soon as we got up here, I was like, that's really, really nice. And I like how you have the lights too that are constantly changing colors too. It's neat.
Yeah, it is neat.
It's really cool.
And the whole, what we wanted to create in the brewery was to have a really open space for people to actually come in and enjoy. So if you've ever been here, you walk through the brewery to go outside, but there's also a lean-to in the brewery that if you want to grab a beer and hang out while we're brewing, have at it.
That's awesome.
It's completely wide open to our customers to come in and hang out with us.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. Well, John, I'd like to get to know you a little better and get to know your background. What did you do before you were brewing beer?
I was doing quite a lot.
Okay.
I spent about 12 years. First, I'm a graduate of the University of Florida. Go Gators.
Nice.
After I graduated, I went into the brewing world, and I'm a food engineer.
So what years what year is this happening?
That would have been 94.
Not to age you, but
it is 90. It's
okay.
I'm up there.
So you were working for breweries back in like the 90s?
Yeah, I actually designed my major in college as a food engineer, and to kind of do brewing studies back when brewing was really not even a thing.
Wow.
I mean, Sierra Nevada was maybe a couple thousand barrels of beer a year. It was like almost nothing. And I worked with some of the food science professors, and they taught me to brew from, I malted my own grain. I went through the whole process.
That's amazing.
In the pilot plants at the university. And after that, I moved to Tallahassee. Then I was in Temecula, California, running a brewery. Then Pittsburgh, Reading, Hawaii, Jersey.
You were working for a brewery in Hawaii?
Yeah, I was building and running breweries kind of all over the place.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why did you come back to Exton?
Well, somewhere along the way, I got married and decided I kind of wanted to try something different. And as a food engineer, I was like, I'm actually going to go use my degree. So I kind of went on a path for about 12 years where I was working for multinational food companies.
Okay, yep.
So kind of working locally here, and then I started overseeing a company that had plants across the country. And the last place I was at was in Westchester, to like a very large coffee roasting plant that I kind of put together and brought coffee roasting into the plant, and and kind of became their master roaster. And that's kind of where I fell in love with coffee, and that's where the coffee comes in. And so, basically what this place is a compilation of everything that I love to do and I'm totally passionate about. I love the science, and I love the art.
That's incredible.
It's incredible.
Speaking of coffee,
yeah, we've got some coffee.
We've got some coffee here. So now for Jonathan and I guess most of our listeners, I don't know if I mentioned this or not. I'm not a coffee drinker.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting.
And we've for those of that have listened, Taylor is not a beer guy. He wasn't a beer guy when we started this.
Wasn't when we started.
We kind of got him into one. So it's great that I'm on the other side of the tables have turned on me.
The tables have turned.
So now I'm the guy trying the stuff.
This is going to be coffee that doesn't taste like coffee to you, which is kind of what we're bringing to the world of coffee.
Please school us and tell us what we're doing, what we're drinking, what goes into it, and as much as you can, kind of school us on it.
So this first coffee is we've created a brand called Unicorn Tears, which is super rare coffees that maybe there's a few bags in the world. And so like working with like farmers and working with our importers that we work with, we really try to get like the best Arabicas that we can from around the world. And we're just a small company, so like I have to source and basically it's like picking needles out of haystacks, and that's kind of what we do in order to get coffee here. This coffee in particular is a natural Burundi coffee from Burundi. So a natural coffee, basically coffee is a piece of fruit, right? It's a cherry that grows on a tree. Right. And, where a lot of the flavor comes from in coffee is how that seed is actually pulled out of the fruit.
Right.
So this coffee in particular gets laid out over the ground and naturally rots, ferments. It's a fermentation process until the flesh comes off of the cherry, and then the cherries get dried.
Holy cow.
And processed, and that's how we end up with coffee.
Yeah, that.
I had zero idea of any of this right now.
Is that every coffee or this bean in particular?
So, I mean, there's a lot of different processes for getting coffee,
Okay.
right? But it's all about, how growing, it's about the terroir, it's about the farmers. It's like, all I really do is turn the beans brown.
Sure.
I can make coffee better maybe a little bit by roasting it, but
Okay.
the reality is if I get bad green coffee,
Yep.
I can only do so much.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's really this is really a relationship-based business in connecting with the farmers and connecting with the origin and getting the, best coffee and the best relationships we can to keep maintaining the level of coffee that we want here at Stone Sun.
Yeah, that's amazing. It
So-
seems like a lot of work goes into choosing and picking what, the coffee that you want to roast.
It's insane, and the amount of coffee in the world it's the second highest traded commodity in the world. It's amazing. When I go to Origin, we'll go to different farms where we'll be looking at the fields, the crops, and checking out the cherries and talking to the farmers and seeing what's happening. You will go to one farm, and then we'll drive like 3 hours to another farm. But guess what's between those 3 hours? Coffee.
Sure. Yeah, right.
So you're
A lot, I'm
literally
sure.
driving through coffee for hours just because it's a very relationship-based business. So my importer has relationships with certain areas and certain farmers, and so it's a very interesting supply chain, to say the least.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
That is wild.
So this coffee, and a lot of our coffees are roasted medium light. And I say most of our coffees, probably our highest selling coffee is a coffee we call Hello Darkness, which is the darkest coffee that we roast, but we still maintain the integrity of the coffee without scorching it and burning it and so forth. Anyways, this coffee, roasted medium light intentionally because we're looking to keep the integrity of the fruit intact. So when you taste it, you're going to taste notes of strawberry, raspberry, milk chocolate, citrus. You're going to get a ton of fruit, a big body, a nice mouthfeel, I hope you do at least. You should.
I did
Cheers.
notice as the smell, it smelled different than regular coffee to me. And
Because
that's the
it's
first
not
thing.
burnt.
I didn't, and that's what I didn't get that scorched kind of scent to it.
Yep. So, Americans are very used to drinking over-roasted coffees. And we're kind of turning back the dial a little bit and really roasting properly, developing the coffee exactly how I want to develop the coffee. But really, I love fruitiness. And, I think that we bring a lot of the sweetness out in the coffee. Or we keep as much sweetness in the coffee, I should say.
All right, wife. My wife is going to crap her pants. All right, wife, I'm drinking coffee. You guys can talk about while I taste it here.
I got to say, I mean, I drink, and it sounds terrible, a lot of Keurig coffee.
Oh,
Yeah, and I'm sure that's painful for a guy like you to hear. And, I do Starbucks and whatever. And you're right. I can tell this is not as dark of a roast. But
Yeah.
there's so much going on here.
Yeah.
And I usually like my my coffee with just some half and half. But this is so flavorful and not too bitter that I could drink this just as is without anything on it. It's just that good.
yeah, we always tell people, give it a try before you put cream in it because there's a lot of citric acidity in a lot of the coffees that we present here. And it's kind of like mixing orange juice and milk together sometimes. So sometimes adding
Yeah.
the milk will actually make it not so good.
Okay, yep. I can see that.
I agree with everything that John just said. I usually drink coffee on the go, mostly at work, and it's usually creamer with a splash of coffee in it. And you guys make fun of me because it looks like chocolate milk when I
Yeah,
have it at
right.
home. But this is something that I would just like sip on in this cup, just like this, the way that it is. I would just casually drink this at home. This is like really, really good.
I think the cool thing about this coffee is the body. Like when you put it in your mouth, it just coats your. It's not. A lot of people think lighter coffees are going to be thin. Like this just engulfs your mouth when you drink it.
And this is Unicorn Tears? That's what
This is Unicorn Tears.
This reminds.
It's really good.
It makes me think of a good beer where there's enough of a balance that it's a nice ride of flavors. You know, there's a beginning, middle, and end, and I feel like you actually get that with this coffee. I'm actually like getting super pumped right now, even though this is like a beer show. Like I'm really excited that I'm getting schooled on good coffee, and you know, it's something that I can get into or go after. You know, Jonathan, what are those things that you brew this coffee with down there? Because I've seen you got like. There's those white things that brew right into these carafes.
It's called a Seraphim brewer, and it's a single cup brewer. So we don't do any espresso here. We really focus on the bean itself. So my whole thing is about tasting what comes from origin.
Right.
And for me, the best way to do it is to do single cup. So it basically it drips over the top of the coffee.
Okay.
And it's just like natural. It just is a very natural progression for making coffee.
That sounds what I need, like to get rid of my Keurig. Just get good coffee, grind it myself, I guess, and use something like that. Because I usually don't drink cups and cups and pots. I usually just have my cup of coffee in the morning, and that's it.
And you can get a super simple single serve setup that's
like
just
that.
a pour over. It's like literally a teapot.
Yeah, and just pour over the.
That's it. It's
Wow.
the simplest form of making coffee. So this coffee here that I just put in front of you guys, super interesting coffee. This is a washed coffee from Burundi. So in this process, the beans actually get washed and the fruit gets removed. And in doing so, it just changes the flavor
It's completely
of the
different.
coffee.
Completely different.
But what makes this interesting, which is we age the green beans in a bourbon barrel from Brandywine Branch Distillers.
Wow.
So in their cask, we put the green beans in before we roast them for about 4 months. We started 2 months, and then we had some more left that were 4 months, and this is the 4 months. So this is kind of like the devil's share of the coffee.
Yeah. Huh. It's crazy. I can get some of that barrel on the end there. I feel like the aftertaste lingers, and you can get some of that oakiness in there.
You don't get a lot of bourbon?
No, I don't personally.
I feel like I get some bourbon in it.
There's a little
do.
sweetness that like kind of tastes a little bourbony, but I don't know.
That's really. I've never tasted coffee like that.
It's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And again, I don't usually drink a lot of gourmet coffee. I'm not like that into it. But like I've never had anything like this. This is another one that I wouldn't need to put cream in.
No, you wouldn't want to.
No. Is this one that you wouldn't want to for sure?
I don't think you would. I don't know, unless you like drinking cream in your bourbon.
Yeah, you never know. There's people that like their beer, in a glass full of ice.
Yeah, it's true.
But I think the
what
cool
they're
thing
into.
about this coffee is, for me at least, it's where does the coffee end and the bourbon begin? It kind of really blends nicely. I've had a lot of bourbon-aged coffees where it's screaming alcohol, where this, I really feel like, blends very nicely.
It's really
just like my bourbon beers, I don't want to taste all straight bourbon.
Yes.
I want a marriage of the two. I don't want it to if I want a shot of bourbon, I'll take a shot of bourbon and have a beer afterwards. And this is, I can definitely taste bourbon, but it's not overpowering.
Right. What do you think? You like it?
I can't say that I like it.
Right. You're not a coffee guy.
I'm not a coffee guy.
Right.
It's a lot different than I expected. It's a lot more of a full spectrum of flavor than I expected.
Right.
Because when I think of coffee, I think of that smell and I think of that one note. And this is definitely much more than one note to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of one-note coffees out there, especially like obviously that you can buy at the grocery store. It's all either just regular-ass coffee, hazelnut coffee, or whatever, but it's all typically the same. This is totally different. Really, really good.
Don't say hazelnut coffee.
She hates hazelnut. My wife hates hazelnut.
Yeah, no, I don't like hazelnut.
I don't
either.
like hazelnut either. But like, what's another one? French roast. I don't even think I've ever had French roast.
No.
No.
Is there any difference in the caffeine with coffee like this versus if you get a grande Pikes at Starbucks? I mean, just the way you're doing things. Is there a different level? Or
it kind of depends how much you've extracted from the beans and how much beans you have. There's a whole science to it.
Oh, right,
but
okay.
basically, espresso has more just because of the way that it's
Right.
It's pressurized and pulled out of the bean.
Okay.
But if you only have, it depends on how much coffee you have and the process you're pressing it out with.
Gotcha. This is really interesting. I'm like super hyped to, and what are the hours like for people that want to come here and get coffee? When can they come here to get like a fresh brewed cup of coffee from you?
So our main hours that are morning hours anymore is pretty much over the weekends. We opened up about 11 months here and kind of found that we're kind of hidden back here in this nook, and getting people here in the morning to actually drink coffee was, for a startup business was very difficult. So
Gotcha.
we kind of just like looked at it, and we sell a ton of coffee, but it's generally in like the whole bean form of people wanting to take coffee home.
Yep.
Over the weekends and a lot of lunches, and we have a lot of people that come in and get the Seraphims, or they get our regular drip coffees that we sell.
Yeah.
So, the cool thing about this place is you get drinkers that come with non-drinkers, and there's coffee for them. So it's an
absolutely.
amazing experience either way you look at it.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's just really neat that you can do different things like that. Like most brewers are just brewers. You've got the coffee here, and you're doing both. And I just think that's really interesting that you can do so well at two what I would think are completely different things.
They're different, but when you really think about it, like you love good beer,
Right.
you love good coffee, and there's a lot of people like that out there. Like if you like good things, you generally like good things of everything.
Yep. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Or else you're drinking Budweiser and eating hot dogs all day long. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Let's not bash hot dogs.
I'm not a hot dog guy.
Where that
personally,
came from.
I'm not a hot dog guy personally. I'm a cheeseburger guy. Okay.
There's room for both.
So, and as we grow as a business, one of the areas we're looking into is actually getting into a more walkable place where people will drink coffee, because I love coffee. As you can tell, I'm like super passionate. It is, for me, coffee is that one drink that's, unless you don't drink coffee, it centers you in the morning. It's that one drink that you kind of drink and you put your thoughts together and you go,
Absolutely.
I'm awake.
Yep.
This is what my day has before me, and that's kind of that really cool thing about coffee.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
look forward to my cup of coffee.
Absolutely.
every morning. I look forward to it.
That's my
Absolutely
wife
right.
in the morning. If she doesn't have her coffee and her little 5-minute time to herself, it's not a good morning.
Yeah,
Well,
I think most
and
people
that's
like
the other
that.
thing. And most people can go a day without beer, but you go a day without coffee, and you know it.
Yeah.
Like it's
You're
not a
absolutely
good
right.
experience.
Yeah, you definitely feel that pretty quick.
So what time do you guys open on the weekends then?
We are open at 9 a.m.
Do you do breakfast?
We do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you have food here also. Tell me about what went into, I guess what went into that. What made you want to open up a kitchen, and what's special about your kitchen?
So I think when we looked at it when we were opening this place, we wanted to get away from the food truck. Just because we felt like we wouldn't have control over what our customers were actually getting, and we'd have to constantly schedule food trucks, and maybe they'd show up, maybe they wouldn't. There's a whole slew of issues that go along with food trucks.
I've heard it's a hassle.
It is. It's
Yep.
a whole other business you got to get into. That being said, having your own kitchen is a hassle.
Right.
It's completely probably the worst part of this business.
Sure.
So, and it's the part that I find myself involved in way too much. So, I mean, it's it's the good side, the bad side of the business. But really, we control our own food here. When we got into this, what we really wanted to do was create just really good pub food.
Yep.
So we have a standards menu that has it has a burger, a chicken sandwich, a cheesesteak, but everything is made from scratch back there. It's a super small kitchen that everything is basically from scratch, and I think our food's really good for what it is. on top of that, we then have the chef specials that come out every 2 weeks that we then start to go out to the smoker that's out in front. I run the smoker. I make briskets. I make pulled pork. So we're kind of making all kinds of creation with brisket and pulled pork, plus chefs doing, who knows what every single week and coming up with some really cool creations. So we're kind of getting the both of best worlds. Like if I go into a pub to drink, like I gotta have wings. We have the basics that are really good here.
Yep.
We're not trying to overcomplicate too much here. The menu's very small, it's simple, but yet really good.
Yeah. That's incredible, just the amount of things that you're doing now. Thinking about you're roasting coffee, you're brewing beer, you're running a kitchen, you're actually doing the smoking of the meats and everything too. That's just, it's crazy. It's a lot of stuff.
And visiting all the farmers and stuff as well for the coffee and things like that too. It's very crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild.
That's
awesome.
actually the stuff I love to do. Unfortunately, I canceled a few trips this year since we just opened, but I'll be back at it here shortly.
So how long have you been open now? Did you say 11 months?
September.
Wow.
So we're coming up on a year soon. It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Seems like about 5 years, actually. But
What do you
Really?
think? What do you think's changed since you've been here? Do you feel like you've fallen into a groove, a good amount, or you know what I mean? Like, has anything changed as far as what you think, like the product you're putting out, or anything like that?
I don't really know. I feel like I work all the time, and I feel like we're always getting better here.
Sure.
I don't really know.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm constantly trying to improve everything that we do here.
So it has nothing really to do with like you being here for a year. You're just always working on improving.
It's
making things.
Always thing, and I think
Yeah.
the folks that work here will tell you that I'm always looking to make things better, and I'm never kind of like just resting on, this is good. Like I'm constantly pushing to get to be a really great thing here.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can tell you're putting a lot of hard work in. Just the last few days that you and I have been in communication trying to set all this stuff up, you've just been handling all these things and running around and doing different stuff. So you can tell that you're really passionate about it and put a lot of hard work into it.
Yeah.
It's just easy to see.
And it's tough. We're a new business. We've been through a lot of turnover here with employees, and it's really as we go. I'm it's like we lose two, but I gain one really good one. So I'm like, we're constantly like, as any new company is going to do, we're constantly working on getting the right people in the right place to be able to create what I think can be a really cool thing.
Right.
Absolutely. Taylor, we got time to try beer?
Yeah. Let's try beer.
Can we get one? Maybe CJ just showed up. CJ, you want to help hand some beers out? Do you mind?
Spiritual guidance,
He
CJ,
shows
technical
up.
advisor.
I'm going to quickly see
Just
what
when we
these
need 'em.
are, just so we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, John's going to get up and check
He's
it
going to
out.
identify to see. I think they're going this way.
Yeah, it looks like they're going that way, CJ.
I'm really interested to try some of these.
We've got just a tray of samplers, and it's just been teasing me over there.
This is really exciting to be here at a brewery, like to have them serve us beer that way. Like usually we're like, cracking cans, and I don't have that noise.
I was about to say, I
I
think
can't crack anything here.
Let's yeah.
That was a good one, actually.
There's this is the first time ever on Might Be Brews that we haven't had that sound, which is fine because
Yeah.
this is also the first time that we aren't in my dining room.
I got to say, Steve did a pretty good job with that noise, though.
Yeah, it was good.
We should isolate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say that, don't I? We should. You got me. All right, so what do we got here, John?
So the first one we have here is a beer that I probably brewed for 20 years. It's called Sunny Wheat. It's a old school honey wheat. Back in the 90s, honey wheat was actually a thing.
Okay.
A big thing, actually. It was probably one of the beers that I think was the first one that made me go like people are starting to produce this at mass levels. I think Sam Adams had a honey wheat.
Okay.
A company called Pete's Wicked had a honey wheat that was super super popular at the
Yeah,
time,
right.
and people were selling like high volumes of it.
I remember
but what
the
it is,
Pete's
it's
one.
like a super clean wheat beer. It's an American wheat style beer. We put Florida orange blossom honey. I'm from Florida originally, so it's kind of an homage to where my roots are. So what you get is a really nice, clean beer. You definitely get the honey notes in it. We also now dry hop this, so we put Mandarina Bavaria and lemon drop in the dry hop. You're not going to really taste like a hoppy note to it, but you will get citrus notes off it, which actually help make this beer super drinkable.
I think what that might have also done, and correct me if I'm wrong, I taste a lot of honey without a lot of sweet, which I like. I like that it's not a sweet honey sugar tasting beer, but I get that honey flavor to it.
It's because we added just the perfect amount.
Yeah, I really like it. It's got like that. To me, I'm saying it's like a really clean, crisp, like a Kolsch almost, where it's just got that really nice. There's not too much. I don't know what to call it, like the malt flavor. It's just enough where it's very clean and
very clean.
Yeah, but it's got a really nice finish on it too. You do get that honey. And there is like a little bit of like citrus,
a little
bitterness,
lemony flavor,
just something on the end that finishes it out.
It's very approachable.
For sure.
As
Absolutely.
somebody who's like not a beer guy, as Steve said,
Air quotes.
Yeah, the air quotes. It's very approachable. Shout out to co-host Kev. I think co-host Kev would like this.
And this is a great like porch beer, just sitting down, enjoying on a hot day.
Yep.
It's a great crossover beer for folks. We do very well with this out on the market. We're out in draft accounts now, and we do sell a lot of this where bars and restaurants are looking for that kind of crossover beer to get people who want to drink craft beer but may not want
the
a million
IPA.
IBU.
Exactly right. Dude, I like it.
I like this a lot.
Is this a beer that when somebody comes in and says, I drink Coors Light or Blue Moon, what do you got for me? Is this...
Well, if they were saying Blue Moon, if they were saying Coors Light, we'd probably give them the Kolsch.
Yep.
Which is, another super clean, drinkable. Love the beer. We use Saphir, a hop called Saphir in it, and that one's dry hopped also. We dry hop pretty much everything here. But it, people sometimes get scared when you say dry hop if they're not hop heads. But we're adding such small amounts, enough to get a characteristic that we want in the beer, but not enough to be like, holy cow, it's a crazy hoppy beer.
Right.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
This is really smooth, very clean. I like the mouthfeel. I like everything about this beer.
I noticed there's not a lot of lagers or pilsners on the menu there.
We don't do them.
Why is that?
I'm just an ale guy. I have no patience for lagers. Although I love them when they're brewed right, for me, it's never been something that I've really been into. I'm a West Coast IPA guy. That's what I love to drink.
Sure.
So for me to spend 4 weeks, I just don't have a lot of patience.
Yeah, it seems like that's kind of the trend anyway. A lot of people... I feel like a lot of people in craft beer right now, especially the newbies, are going just after those pale ales and IPAs and things like that, dry hopped and adjuncts and whatever. But that's neat that you're kind of catering to that right now.
Yeah, I mean it's who we are.
Sure.
So like ale, or, lagers, pilsners, not really.
It's not your thing.
forte.
It's okay to not do it. Do what you like, do
absolutely.
what you love.
And do people? What would you say? How popular would you say that this beer is for your client base?
It's probably like our second or third popular beer.
So I would drink this every single day.
I mean, New Exton's probably our most popular beer, but part of it is because it's called. I mean, it's a really delicious beer. Don't get me wrong. But it's kind of that rock star. It's New Exton.
Yep.
Right.
If I'm going to go to Exton, I'm going to drink New Exton.
Right.
Yep.
But it's a highly hopped beer, New England style, and so people, like that.
Gravitate
sort of beer
towards
right
that.
now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's really good beer.
But, great beer, and we do very well with this because it really is that crossover that is super drinkable.
Now, did you say that you have a new brewer that started here?
Yes, I do.
How long ago did they start?
She's been with us for about 3 months now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she came from Victory.
Awesome.
Chris Preston.
Chris Preston.
Yes.
So, what do you think is going to change, or
And
what
she
do you
would have been here tonight, but she got kind of caught up in not being able to make it through the flooded streets.
Oh, I
so.
believe it. It was crazy out there.
It was crazy out there.
But what do you expect her to bring to the table that's different from what you've been putting out? Do you expect her to change anything or to put her own spin on things?
Absolutely. And what she also brings to the table is just organization and hard work. And, honestly, she makes it happen down there. I mean,
Wow.
like you said, I'm running around doing 1,000 things at this point, which is amazing. Like, she can take care of business. And
Yeah.
that's like the most, and I have complete confidence that she's doing the right things all the time. And she's a solid brewer and just does great work for us. So,
That's awesome.
couldn't be happier with how that all has progressed.
Yeah, that's great. That's really exciting.
Absolutely.
We got time for another one? How are we looking?
I mean, we can take a break. We don't have to take a break. I don't,
let's
all
take a
right, let's
break
get-
and. No, you want to? Let's do one more. We got them out already. Let's do another
Sure.
one. Yeah, let's do
We
one
got
more.
some beers to go through.
We got
here,
some
so
beers.
We got some beers to go through.
Let's get this drinking going here. All right. So the second one, again, the second one is our kettle sour. So it's
Is
a
that
Goza.
that row?
Which one did I s-
Let's see if we can figure out which one's which here.
It's the one that's not hazy.
Awesome.
It's that one.
Let's hand him
What's this
down.
one?
It's the Goza.
Yeah.
CJ coming through big time, man. He helps with everything.
Shout out
If
to
you
CJ
spill
showing
any of
up.
that on Taylor's junk, or Taylor's recording equipment, I don't think he'll care if you put beer on his junk, but if you get it
Not
on his
again. Not
recording
again.
equipment,
If my technical advisor just fucks up all my technical things,
that would be insane.
that would be insane.
So tell me about this. What are we about to drink here?
So this is our take of a kettle sour. It's our Goza. It's called Sweet Tang, and
wow.
being a child of the 70s when kind of we were looking at, what are we going to sweeten this with? It had to be Tang.
So there's
There's actual
tang?
tang in this?
There's actual Tang in here.
Get the hell out of here.
I hear there's astronauts in it too,
There,
but that might not
it's,
be.
it is astronomical.
What?
This is incredible that there's tang in this.
Yeah, I think you can get it. I get a little bit of that in there.
I do, but
Actually,
I just
I don't
didn't
know-
know that that's what that was.
There's definitely an orange
That's-
note to
It's
it.
undoubtedly Tang. I grew up drinking Tang.
I
Oh,
grew up
God.
drinking tang too.
Absolutely.
Sunny Delight as well.
Yeah, you're definitely a Sunny D guy. I was too. I guess I don't have a whole lot of tang experience, but to know for sure. But this is a fantastic sour. I'm a big sour guy. I love
Wow,
sours,
that's good.
and I haven't had this before actually. So I'm really pumped to be having it. It's delicious.
Are we in our safe space still?
What's that mean?
I don't think I've ever had tang.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
I don't think I
Well,
ever.
I'm sure I have. I think I have.
I don't think
Just
I
not
have.
enough to really know
Like
for
I
sure.
understand what it is, but I
Everybody's
just
throwing their
don't think
hands
I've
up. Like,
ever had tang.
Well, that's a damn shame. Because you should probably go out after this and purchase some powdered tang.
I may have some in the brewery if you want to try some. I think we have some extra Tang.
Okay.
what's the ABV on that?
On the
It's around
tang?
3.8.
Yeah, the tang.
Yeah.
What is it?
3.8
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
You could drink that all day.
Yeah.
all
Dude,
day.
I would drink this all day.
It's delicious.
It's
Sometimes
really good.
it's tough to do like a sour over and over
It
again.
is. It
You get
is.
a little heavy on the stomach, but that's delicious.
And honestly, like to get drunk on 3.8 beer is really hard.
Right. You have to
Usually a lot
like.
of fun
You
too.
got to work at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to put in some time.
But the good news
Yeah.
is there's a lot of vitamin C and calcium,
Right.
so you're actually getting healthy as you drink.
the sweetness plays really well with the saltiness, the sourness of the Goza. It's a good balance.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's another good call by you, Steve. There's that that saltiness from the Goza that's kind of helping balance everything. But same thing, that's got a really good balance and really good mouthfeel. I feel like it's just it's not too light, it's not too up front or just back end flavors. It's just like a nice ride the whole way through, well rounded. That's really, really good.
Thank you.
That's spectacular.
Yeah, man.
That's spectacular. I mean, I tasted it and I was like, this is really tangy. And then you're like, there's
Absolutely.
tang in
There's
it. And I'm
actual
like,
tang in
what?
It's usually like this who's on first ordeal every time. It's like, it's tangy. No, there's tang. Oh, it's tangy. No, there's tang.
They need to bring this up to space in the space station next time instead of the tank.
Yeah, right. That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
God, that's really. What
Have
is
they-
this called? What's this one called?
Sweet tang.
Sweet Tang.
Does anybody know if beer's been on like the space station or in a spaceship? Do they allow astronauts to drink?
I would bet that vodka has been up there.
I would
bet
bet
you
all the
some
Russians?
cosmonauts
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
some vodka up there.
Yeah, I
interesting.
mean, I think they probably crack a beer up
I'd
there.
have to look that up.
I don't know if they can bring carbonated things
That's
up
a good
there.
point.
They have. I think they have a coffee machine. I thought I read somewhere that what's that company, Lavazza, or
Yep.
something like that. They actually put a coffee. They designed a coffee machine or coffee maker for the International Space Station, I believe.
Interesting.
We just went off on a weird tangent. That's all right.
Sounds like a rumor.
Fake news.
They just did it to boost their sales.
People say.
Yeah, right.
God, this is really good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, so far 2 for 2, as far as I'm concerned, as a non-beer guy, and also, see, whenever I compare when I drink beer and try new beer, the thing that I look for is the accessibility to it. And as a new beer guy, as someone who's actively trying different beers and trying to, get into the whole thing, I look at that. That's the first thing I look at. Is how do I feel like co-host Kev
Yeah,
would
somebody who's-
react to
yeah,
this?
right.
And
How approachable is it from an outsider?
Right, and I think that
For the
that
everyday person.
both of these so far are very approachable for anyone. Even if somebody's just coming in here to get coffee and they don't drink beer, they should try these because they're that good. They're that accessible.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
And don't let Taylor fool you. He's becoming a beer guy.
Yeah, I mean,
I am.
You did
He's-
go to visit our parents up in upstate New York.
I did.
and visited a brewery and brought beer back from a brewery.
I did.
That's
not,
pretty much what we do.
not the beer that you guys wanted, though.
That's all right.
We're
on the right track.
Don't think that I've forgotten that, by the way. So Taylor went up to Rochester. So we asked him to stop at Other Half in Rochester, and we got Ungats.
No,
We got nothing.
we got
nothing
cream
is-
ale from Genesee.
Nothing is incorrect, okay? Because you got cream ale from Genesee.
Hey, nothing. No bash in Genesee though. Their Kolsch, that Ruby.
That's what I got. I got the
it's
ruby red
fantastic.
Kolsch for you.
So-
because I know
it's
you like
delicious.
Kolsch's.
I do like Kolsch's. And
I got the strawberry lemonade cream ale to compare to Natter Days because we drank that garbage.
That's a good idea. That is garbage.
Oh, it's garbage.
I gave one to the wife, and she was not happy.
I like the Genesee version.
So the funny thing is, Jonathan, for you, we're going to be going through all the different beer styles, the BJCP style guide. So we literally started with American Light Lager. Next show, we're going to do Miller High Life for American Lager. Number 3 is cream ale.
Oh.
Which there aren't a lot of commercial cream ales out there. Genesee's really one of the...
I got like 10 more of them left, so
Well,
I'll
you
slow
better
down a
save
little
that,
bit.
John.
I'll slow down a little bit.
Have you done a cream ale before?
Yes.
I'm not. I'm not a fan of cream ales. Like when I first got into craft beer and had a couple, they weren't really my thing, and I haven't gone back to revisit it.
Well, they're super light beers, so you either like a light beer or you don't.
Yeah,
I didn't even know cream ale was a thing.
Yep.
I didn't
I'd
even
like to
know.
go back and revisit it.
It's almost like a steam beer. Not that they're similar, but just there's not a whole lot of over-the-top flavor to them to be either offended by or to gravitate towards.
I was drawn to
Interesting.
it because I'm a huge Wu-Tang fan. So cream ale, I was like,
cream.
cream? Okay.
Get the money.
Sounds good to me.
Dollar bills, you know.
I even bought a sweatshirt.
Jackie
Cream
must
ale.
have. I was going to say Jackie must have liked it enough. She got a hoodie. She was just cold.
She was just cold. And we were going to the movies that night, and she knew she needed a sweatshirt.
I'm eyeing up that hat you have down there. The one with the big brim. I don't know what you call that
Sweet.
style of hat.
It's a boonie hat.
A boonie, yeah. I've got a couple of those that I just wear like all summer when I'm out in the sun all day. I just love them. So I'm definitely eyeing that up. I'm going to get one of those before we go. I guess let's take a break. We
Yeah.
will come back in a minute with some more beers right here from Stolen Sun in Exton, Pennsylvania.
So you've been listening to the Might Be News Network, but you still can't get enough each week? Become our patron on Patreon. Head to patreon.com/MBN Network to become a patron and get exclusive content now. For as little as $5 per month, you'll get access to extended episodes of all your favorite shows, as well as perks including MBN merch and monthly giveaways. Just want to support the network? Become a patron for as much or as little as you'd like. Patreon.com/MBN Network. 2 hours of bonus content each week guaranteed. Your contributions will help make the Might Be News Network bigger and better than ever before. Patreon.com/MBN Network.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Might Be Brews. Is this a new tune? I don't think we've had this one yet.
You haven't, but it is not new.
I've heard it on the network for sure.
It is.
It's kind of fresh.
Thank you very much.
I like it.
Thank you.
You know what I don't like is the fact that you went to Rochester and didn't bring us back in the other half.
Yeah, not happy about that.
So you know what? You know what we're doing?
What are we gonna do?
Screw Taylor. We are putting this whole hour and a half out for everybody.
I got something here. Yo, fuck that guy.
Fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys.
Fuck that guy.
This whole hour and a half, and this is official.
It's official.
Everyone is getting the whole hour and a half.
Everybody.
You get an hour and a half. You get an hour and a half. Everybody gets an hour and a half.
Yo, and if you like this 90-minute episode, go to patreon.com/MBN Network and sign up, and you'll get them. You'll get them every time.
Because this is the only one you're getting.
They're the only one you're getting.
And don't forget, you're getting the extra half hour. You're going to get a mug. You're going to get a coffee mug. You could come to Stolen Sun and get it filled with some fantastic beans. You can get what else you going to get? Depends on what thing you get. Arabicas. That's the thing I was looking for.
Amazing Arabicas.
Amazing Arabicas.
Depending on what tier you're at, you get different things. Go check it out.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/MBN Network. We'd really appreciate it.
And we wanted everybody to share in the Stolen Sun stuff that we got going on. We got a lot of beers we're going to try and plow through in the next 40-some odd minutes. We got to get a special sneak peek of unicorn tarts.
Coming
I've heard
today.
coming out today, but
When this
actually
episode-
tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it's today.
It's today.
If you're listening, it's today.
So
you
go
can
there
go
today.
get it right. Maybe not right now, depending on what time you're listening.
Yeah, when
Right.
you get
What
done
time you
work,
open? What time's Friday open?
11.
11. So get
Come
in
for
there
lunch.
11. Get your unicorn tarts.
Supposedly tapping at 4, but something tells
Okay.
me it'll be on
Something tells
before
me.
that.
Nice.
Well, let's get right into this beer that's been cracked.
Somebody cracked it.
Somebody cracked it.
We're going left to right.
You're going right to left.
Okay.
We've got Baby Juices,
Yes,
which
baby
is your
juices.
New England style session.
This is a sessionable New England style beer. So about 4.8% alcohol, loaded with hops.
Just the
All
nose is
kinds
incredible.
of hops. Tons of tropical flavors to it. Super drinkable, super crushable.
Little bubblegum kind of flavor in there for me.
You think so?
A little bit.
I'm getting tons of citrus.
Yeah.
There's so much citrus. It's like refreshing, and I love that it's like 4 something. Not quite 5. That I just want to like. It's been so freaking hot and humid the past like week and a half or whatever, and doing stuff outside. It's been hard. Like I go to my fridge and I see these double IPAs and whatever, the heavier stuff, and I keep grabbing something lighter. I wish I had this, or I'm looking forward to drinking this more this summer. This is fantastic.
I drink it all the time. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beer that you can drink literally all the time, and it's super refreshing. I get a lot of melon, a lot of guava. I
Yep.
tend to get, a lot of those very tropical flavors, and, we're using Mosaic and Citra, and
Definitely get Mosaic in there.
It's really good.
Absolutely.
That's really good. I've learned over the time that we've been doing this show that I prefer session IPAs. I like that lower, what is it, ABV?
Yep.
I like the lower, I feel like it's just like less bitter.
Yeah.
I feel, because that's usually the roadblock that I hit with IPAs is just
Right.
the overall bitterness. And this is very, again, approachable. For somebody who's like, I've never had an IPA before, let me try an IPA, I guess. Try Baby Juices.
Yeah, it's got that juiciness from a New England. It's got a ton of tropical flavors up front, but I feel like it still finishes with enough bitterness to help round it out and have like a solid, like hop character.
I like the names of your beverages.
We have a lot of fun here after work trying to figure
Just
out
thinking
names
about
for
it?
beers. Yeah, this one originally started as a Christmas beer.
Really?
Yeah, I just kind of one night we had the idea that everyone would want to bring baby juices home for Christmas, and we never did it just because we had 100 other projects. And then as we really tried to get a session beer out, it just kind of stuck. And we called it baby juices, and people hate ordering it half the time, but it works. Once they start drinking it, they call it something else,
Right.
but they're drinking it, so that's the important thing.
That's the important thing.
What I think's cool about it for a session beer, though, is a lot of times I feel session beers fall short on body, and I'm big on body with beers, and I really think that this really keeps it drinks like a nice beer without you thinking, oh, this is only 4.8% alcohol.
Yeah, I think you can tell that it's maybe not like a 7 or 8%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you're right. It doesn't come off as like too thin or anything. It's still got good body, good mouthfeel.
It's really good.
Cool.
It's really good. It's good beer.
What are we doing? Are we right on to the next one?
Baby
Just rapid
juices.
fire.
We're going
rapid fire
speed
brews.
round. So this is, this is probably our most popular beer we sell here. Well, actually,
Baby juices is?
no.
Okay,
The
the
next
next one.
beer.
Okay.
New Exton.
New Exton.
So, and it's only most popular until another hazy beer comes out because everyone just wants the next hazy beer that comes out. But this one is a flagship, and it's been on since we've been open. And again, this is about a 7.4% beer, loaded with hops, super drinkable, super crushable.
It is still very, very drinkable. But I guess what I'm surprised in is the difference. Even though that other one's a New England IPA, this one definitely has that, like, I almost want to say, I've only used this word like once, pillowy. There's something happening in the middle there that really is juicy but soft at the same time that I think is like that trait that really, makes you know that it's a New England IPA.
Right.
And I think it nails it there.
Cool.
Absolutely.
It's really good.
You were talking about, everybody wanting the next hazy. How much of that do you guys like to play into? Do you try and kick out a new beer every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks? Do you have that kind of plan, or is it just whenever you come up with something new, you're putting it out?
I think we're always trying to make new beers. I mean, as brewers, we really want to be creative folks. So, a lot of times, and people love hazy beers, so, we're trying to give consumers, and still be brewing to be true to ourselves and what we love, which is hops. We're always trying to kind of break that envelope. And this beer also no lactose in it as well, so we do not currently, we haven't used any lactose, but not saying we'll never do it.
Yep.
But we brew with, yeast and oats and barley and, the stuff that'll make the beer hazy.
Sure.
Without actually introducing something else.
Now, you guys do crowler fills here, right?
We do.
Do you have any plans on trying to do any canning?
Yeah, if you look over the rail, we actually have a canning line over there. We just haven't opened up yet.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's the plan? You want to just sell, 4-packs, 6-packs right out of here?
Yes.
You looking to do any type of distribution eventually, or?
I don't think we've really looked that far, but, I kind of feel the retail model is the way to go.
Absolutely.
I kind of get lost every time I go to a distributor.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I'm
It's
just
crazy,
looking for
isn't it?
pretty pictures on cans.
Yeah, right.
So we're just going to try to stay local and more, local to our customers and local to our accounts that kind of, support our business here.
Absolutely.
And try to stick to that model.
I think a lot of people do nowadays.
Right.
And I think that's great. I think it's nice to bring people in. They can enjoy the experience of being here and then take some stuff home with them.
Yeah. Like
they can enjoy for a few days.
Self-distribute. And
your kegs and stuff.
I deliver everything. So like a lot of times, I'm the owner of the business, brewing the beer, delivering the beer. So we pretty much do everything. And people are always surprised when I show up at, the tap accounts lugging kegs.
Yeah, right.
Where are some of your tap accounts around here? I know I've had one of your beers at Righteous Tap House, which is kind of close to
Righteous has
to my
been
house.
awesome. They sell a ton of our beer. They'll actually be tapping Unicorn Tarts with us. Split Rail sells a ton of beer.
Nice.
You know, Poorhouse, PJ's, Ron's, Uno's, Red Robin sells our beer.
Wow.
Geez, I hate to.
You don't want to leave
Alba
anybody
has
out.
been selling our beer since the beginning.
Alba?
Alba out in Malvern.
I don't. I never
Flying
get out that
Pig's been
far.
selling our beer for a long time. We're starting to get out in Christopher's and the Brick and Brews. Timothy's around the corner from
Yep.
us has been supporting us from the beginning.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, they're awesome. I mean, you know, we're really starting to get out there, and you know, I'm, you know, gaining relationships with a lot of our tap accounts,
Yep.
and you know, really starting to develop. Oh, Suburban sells a ton of our beer, and you know, I have a great relationship with those guys. We actually brewed one of their beers for them not long ago. So, geez, I hope I don't miss anyone.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's terrible, but I mean, we're getting the word out there. We're moving a lot of beer. We're not moving a ton of beer, but we move for us.
Well, I hear you. I always I try to ask people when I meet somebody new in the industry. It seems like now it's very crowded. It's a crowded space. Like you said at the distributor, there's so much to choose from. How do you do that? So what do you think you do differently, or what do you do to try to draw people in or to get people in here? How do you fight that battle of so much competition out there?
I think we just keep trying to do what we do and hope that we have good word of mouth, and you know, we kind of grow the business that way. We do stuff on Facebook and Instagram, but there's really not a lot of advertising, and
Right.
I mean, we're just organically growing. You know, we'd like to be growing faster like everyone would, but at the same time, we're trying to do the right things and not take shortcuts and try to just be true to what we want to do. And, you know, if we have to at some point, we'll hit the oh shit button and do something else. But until
Right.
then, right now, we're just trying to follow what we want to do.
We're in the same exact boat here, and one thing that I always say to everybody on our network is consistency is key. And it seems like you're consistently putting new things out, consistently making very clean, very tasty beers. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
I was actually surprised when you said you haven't even been here a year yet. I feel like you've been around.
It feels
a
like
little
a
bit
long
longer
time.
than that.
Well, part of it too is I have a very long background in brewing, and just in, you know, this isn't our first rodeo per se, so we opened up we're pretty, you know, aggressive with the equipment we have. We own a centrifuge down there. We're actually kind of spinning beers down. We're doing the right things that I think, process-wise, to really put out high-quality beers on the small system that we have. So we've started out with, you know, what I think is, you know, a good little boost and, you know, nice facility, and that's what helps make good beers ultimately.
So our buddy Evan that listens to the show, he actually brought that up online. We were trying to ask, asking our fans to say, give us some questions. And he said that he heard you guys use a centrifuge or have one. And I've never heard of a brewery having them. I don't know if that's common or not. But what does that actually do, and how does that how do you use that in the process?
So it's a separator. Instead of filtering beer, we separate the beer. So centrifuge spins super fast.
Right.
You know, like 9 times the speed of gravity to pull the particles away from the liquid. So what that allows us to do, like if you notice our beers, they're still cloudy, but they're not chunky.
Right.
And they have a nice mouthfeel to them because it's not like super thick, but it's kind of thick enough to kind of hold the yeast in there. And we're able to kind of do that with all of our beers that we push through. So we can go anywhere from like, you know, clear to cloudy, and we really have a lot of controls. Plus we're able to, because we're spinning the beer, where a lot of folks would have to dump a lot of the beer, that we can actually spin it and separate the liquid.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
get better efficiencies.
Wow.
That being said, we add so much dry hops to most of these beers, we lose probably 20% of every beer we brew.
Yeah, that's a danger of the dry hop, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Wow.
But we'd probably lose like 25 to 30 if I mean, honestly, with the amount of hops we throw in some of these, we probably are saving a good amount of beer.
Sure.
That's incredible. That sounds pretty wild.
Are we ready for the next one? Are you still working on that new Exton there?
No, go ahead.
You ready for the next one? Let's do, which one is this?
This is Uncle John's beer.
Is this Uncle John's?
Yes.
Nice. So that's a nice switch from the New England style. That's a nice hoppy beer.
Absolutely. So this is, the origin of IPA that I always kind of go back to. And when I started brewing, this is the style that I was kind of bringing up and really trying to push the envelope. But, in the 90s when I first started brewing. And, for me, I always wanted to have an Uncle John's beer, huge deadhead. And to me, I thought many years when I was out of the game is like the Uncle John's beer is totally what I wanted to do. And so this is kind of our jam beer. We keep the malt about the same in every batch, but what I do is I play with the hops. So that's kind of, if you ever listen to The Dead, all the songs, the same songs they play, but they just kind of improvise, and that's kind of what we do with the hops in this beer. So this is a ton of Citra in this one, Chinook Centennial. And, this is the beer we just get to play around with. So always going to be a great, American-style IPA, but we change it up. This is batch number 6.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
It's good to have a little bitterness back in the flavor profile.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this one's bitter. It's a bitter bomb. It's good, though.
But still smooth, a lot of citrus
very
notes,
smooth.
a good amount of pine in this one, which is, very synonymous to
the west.
And we try to keep as many C hops as possible, but sometimes we don't. But
I know what you mean. No, this is fantastic. I really like this beer. I love doing that. I love having a like a New England and then switching it up back to like a West Coast style or something that's like a traditional American. That's nice and hoppy, but
it wakes you up a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
And this is an old school beer. I mean, this is like, for me, this is everything I love about beer.
It's good. It's very clean too.
It's a great ale. It's got a great body.
It's good.
Big on body.
I like the just how crisp all the beers are as well. I feel like it's just, obviously it's fresh. We're right here, but like it just, I don't know. It's different. I feel like it's different than going to a bar and just ordering a Yingling or a Dogfish Head or whatever. These are, you can tell that you put a lot of time into making these beers, coming up with the recipes, and just figuring out how to make the freshest, cleanest, crispest beer that you can. And this is really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm surprised that everything is like just so well balanced. There's nothing that's like, I wish it was less malty or more malty or less whatever. It just, everything's got a nice flow to it. All the beers just are really, really good and have great flavors throughout. And I like you said, the body's important to you, and that's coming across. Every beer has got a great body. Absolutely killing it.
Cool.
I'm going to be completely honest. I had no idea that you guys were here, where we are, until I pulled in your parking lot. And I mean, if you live around here, you need to explore this place, right? I mean, because like there's I feel like this is different than a lot of the places that are directly surrounding us. Whereas like this is yours. This is your stuff,
right?
And I mean, it's tucked away behind a bunch of stuff over here. But seriously, find this place. Find this place. Check it out.
You've been brewing for, what'd you say, like 20-some years, right?
Well, I brewed for about 12 years, and then I kind of went corporate for many years. So during that time, I wasn't really...
But, so I'm just saying, you've been in the game for a long time.
Yes.
What inspires you now? What inspires your beers? Or what gets you inspired to, make something new?
I think it's just kind of what I do. Like, it's kind of what I love to do, and it's kind of what I do. And there's really, we wake up just like everyone else. But for me, my art is brewing, it's roasting, it's, it's the food aspect of it. And that's, for me, that's what keeps us going.
Right.
Yeah.
I came for tacos on Taco Tuesday, that cauliflower, the buffalo cauliflower,
cauliflower,
was fantastic. I loved that. But so was the there was like a brisket one. It was the Korean
Korean
the
beef.
Korean barbecue
Yeah.
was incredible too. And then I just had a cheesesteak for the first time. The cheesesteak's great. The meat's just like that's good steak in there.
And that's
You
the
can
thing.
tell.
It's like the food is simple, but we create it, I believe, very good
Yeah.
for what it is. It's a $12 cheesesteak. So,
Right.
but we make, we always have an eye to quality, and we always want to make sure we're presenting something, because we don't want to have amazing beers and then sit there and have crappy food.
Right.
And that's always been my biggest fear. It's like if someone's coming here to drink what we're doing here, we can't then just skimp on what we're doing on the food side.
Yeah, that makes sense. So at the beginning of the episode, there was a lot of background noise, and there was some piano playing and a lot of clapping. That was your son playing piano, right?
That's Dylan. Yep.
That's Dylan. That's
Yep.
his piano, right?
Yep.
He comes in here and plays. I was completely blown away by his voice and his playing ability.
Yeah, really good.
That was
He's
just
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought they were clapping for us though at first.
I like to pretend they were.
Yeah.
Just,
They
I
were
was
not.
expecting
And then
when
there's
like
the 12-year-old kid playing piano that you realize is, showing up the place.
There might be Brews guys are here. Yeah.
I was expecting to see like a crowd of people with signs like "It's my birthday, give me a shout out on the show." But we're almost there.
No, very talented.
But
and
it seems like there's a lot of music like that's going on here. You have a lot of bands
Absolutely.
come through, and is that important to you?
It's super important. I mean, I love music.
Yeah.
It's all part of kind of what we do here. And the whole, the difficult part is figuring out the magic that kind of puts it all together, and the right times, the right people, the right, we're growing a business here, and we're trying to get people to realize, that we're back behind the crappy mattress place.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And, the place that this parking lot's always been kind of dead. So I think people keep driving by.
Yep.
And everyone keeps saying you need bigger signage, even though we have flags and banners and whatever. People are driving by 50 miles an hour. No one expects anything to be in here. So, part of it is, we're just trying to put together the whole package. And music is a piece of what people want to go out and drink beer. And
Absolutely.
we do a lot of daytime shows, too. So when we have families come out, a lot of our music is from 2 to 5. Like this Saturday, we got Paul Wilkinson and his group out here at 2 to 5. And they kill it every time they're here. And we have families come out with kids, and the kids are dancing. And,
Yep.
we don't do a lot of night stuff here. People in Exton go to sleep at like 8:30 to 9. So,
yeah.
we try to keep it, we're you can see, we're slowing up now, but we also had kind of floods happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, we slow down at night here. We're a day brewery. People do day drinking at this place.
That's awesome.
Well, it's kind of cool too because like we're mentioning that it's kind of tucked away. It almost makes it kind of like a hidden jewel almost. Where like if you know about this place and you're a regular here, it's kind of like you're almost an exclusive company, right? I mean, do you get that vibe when you come
Absolutely.
in?
Absolutely.
I get that vibe just sitting here.
I saw that. I don't know if it's all of Afro Bear, or did you have them recently, and then some of them are coming back?
Well, Teddy and Amanda, they're playing Sunday.
Okay, I've only seen them once, and I think
Amazing.
it was at the Winterfest.
Yeah, the Kennett
Dude,
Winterfest.
They are incredible.
Insane.
They were fun. They were fun.
They were so much fun to watch. They had such great energy, and they just killed it.
Yeah.
I love live music myself, so I'm actually looking forward to coming back here to
Cool.
watch some.
Well,
But
Saturday and Sunday we have music.
do you play at all?
No, but my kid does.
Well, your kid does. Because you said you didn't, and I thought I saw you walking out of here with a guitar the other night.
I play some. That's actually his guitar. I do play some guitar, but not really.
Yeah.
Does
Does he act too, your son?
both my kids. They
I thought I saw
perform a lot
one of them was
it.
in.
Zane. He was
Okay.
Charlie and Willy Wonka at the Salt Theater.
Wow.
Oh,
And they
wow,
do a
that's
lot
cool.
of stuff at the Salt Theater. They're doing You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. Both of them are in that, which is pretty cool. Great
That's
theater
incredible.
group, amazing. People. That's an amazing local, theater group in the area. If anyone's in the area.
You got to be proud, man. I've got really young kids. They're one of them's 4, the other's 3, and man, I'm just hoping. I love playing instruments. I'm not good at any of it, but I'm just praying that like one of them can sing so that we can like kind of do a thing. You know what I mean? And like they're somewhat talented that way. But man,
both
you got
of them
to
are
be proud.
completely amazing. Like it amazes me with everything we've had going on and creating a business and the churn that we go through 24/7 here, and we have kids that are just amazing talent, and like we're very lucky.
Yeah, I gotta say it's such a cool vibe to know that like you can come in here and have a beer and like your family's around in the tap house while you're enjoying yourself, and then he sits at the piano and just
entertains people. That's what you do.
He played for a good 30-45 minutes and killed it. That's incredible. But I just think that's like such a cool vibe. Like you can feel the like the family vibe that's going on here, and I think it kind of resonates while you're here and kind of attributes to the experience.
Well, and our business is all like we don't have any partners. It's just Derek and I. It's my wife and I and our kids. There's no other partners. We kind of went in this. I never wanted anyone to tell me, what to do or how to do it, and that's what we do here.
That's awesome, man. It's such a cool thing to see. This is one of my favorite things about our show. We get to talk to breweries, and you go to breweries, and you have the beer, and you have the food, and you're a fan of it, but when you find out what's behind it and what the people are like and their passion and what it means to them.
We're all putting it on the line. Every single one of us has everything on the line.
Yep.
Yeah,
and you're trying to make it work, and it's so cool that it shows. And I don't know. To me, I feel like it actually makes the beer taste better, knowing how much
the tears that are
right. Just it's really neat to see how much goes into it, and it makes for like a whole experience when you're here having the beer. So it's really cool.
So should we drink more beer?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's next?
On to the next one.
Yeah, exactly. We got to keep moving.
Yeah.
Revolution IPA. So this is another old school beer. It's a classic take on an English IPA. This one is served in cask. So we're pumping this through a beer pump.
Yep.
That's why it tastes a little flat and it's a little bit warmer.
Flat, warm, and a little maltier than the last
earthy,
one. Not as
malty.
much of that that bitter West Coast hop.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And because it's East Kent Goldings from England go into this beer, and we dry hop the hell out of it with East Kents, and also we actually use bittering additions in the kettle, which doesn't happen a lot these days. But that's what goes in this beer. So this is like real ale. This is English style ale that we pump up to our, if you go to England and have an IPA, it's not so hoppy. This is a very hoppy, big English IPA.
Yeah, I've never been to Europe, but I just kind of imagine that like if you go into like, England or wherever, and you walk into just like a pub that you see in the movies and you order an ale, this is the beer that they give you. Something like this.
Yeah.
That's what I imagine, at least.
I gotta say,
I would say this is way more flavorful than a lot of beers you would. Yes, absolutely. If you go to England and you get pub style IPA, it's going to taste more lighter in character than you would think.
what do you think about this?
I think it's a really good choice of beer to put on the cask style. It really opens up the flavors because it's not as assertive as a different IPA might be, but it's still got a good flavor, and the warmness of the beer opens it up to it.
I think so too. I see exactly. Dude, you're so good at tasting beers.
I'm good at swallowing beers. I don't know.
Mr. Steve.
Yeah, Mr. Steve, he just always comes with like the, I don't know, I can always say like the very basic stuff, and you come through with the deepness.
All right.
I gotta say, I've never tasted a beer like this before in my life. As far as like, I mean, I've had like warmer beer before, but that was by accident. Just I let it sit out too long. But like the flatness, like you were saying, I've never really experienced that before, and it's a different take on the whole experience, and it's very interesting and very good.
I like trying cask beers. You know, I don't do it that often, but
is that what that is? Is that like?
Yeah,
what is
like,
a cask
if
beer?
you go
like
to Station Tap Room, for example, they've got their beer list, but at the bottom they always have something on cask. I think the Poorhouse in Exton, they usually have a cask beer on tap.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it's usually warm. It's not in a keg. It's not pressurized, carbonated with CO2.
Okay.
I don't think so, right?
No.
Yeah. So.
And the cool thing about cask beer is every day it changes.
because it's not a lot of beer, right?
And you have air that's going in, and you're constantly oxidizing the beer. So
Okay,
you know,
you got to get it.
well,
get it done
no,
quick.
I mean it's always changing.
Yeah,
That doesn't that's
Oh,
not
I see what
necessarily a
you're
bad
saying.
thing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So basically, when it's there's no carbonation in the cask, right? Is there carbonation in the cask,
There's-
or there?
There's a small amount of carbonation through the casking process that's in the cask.
But most of it is coming from
Your hand,
the pumping.
it's air pump. Yeah, it's an old school piston pump that pushes beer.
So every time you're pulling out, you have to push in.
Yes.
So that's what's making it change.
And then it also has a
as it goes.
sparkler on it, so it's actually infusing air into the beer to really break out the aromatic components.
Yeah, it's
wild.
crazy. It's not my favorite style. I would say I would prefer a hoppier beer. I'd prefer like a New England type beer, stuff like that. But it's really interesting to think about how this has probably opened up so much with that.
It's crazy because it makes it like super duper smooth.
Yeah,
The lack of like the carbonation and all that, it just literally just goes straight down.
It's actually surprising. We've served this in cask and also carbonated version, and it's amazing. The folks, like, we've sold a lot of this, and every time we don't have it, people always ask for it, and it's actually interesting to me. But the first time I made it, I love English style IPA, and I love this beer, but the first time I made it, I'm like, no one's gonna want to drink this, and we sell out of it every single time. It's a
that's
great
great.
beer. It's a great flavor.
So does English style IPA, is that typically cask beer?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Okay.
Yeah,
All
there's
right.
plenty of carbonated, versions of English style IPA.
What makes it English style?
It's definitely not as hoppy as the stuff that we would normally bring to the
Okay.
podcast.
Okay.
Definitely a more maltier flavor from the.
Well,
the-
I mean, this is a 70 IBU beer, I think.
to me, this is more hoppier than most English IPAs that I've had.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
it's also different types of hops. So instead of being like citrusy, juicy, fruity sort of hops, it's more
Earthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really good.
What do we got in there? A nugget? I always feel that gets my.
No
nugget.
No, it's all East Kents. I think maybe we use some Fuggle or some Magnum in the first bittering edition, but it's the flavors you're getting is from the East Kent Goldings. I kind of feel like you can't have English style IPA without East Kent Goldings.
So I saw that you had a cider on your menu.
We do.
Do you make that cider?
No.
Okay.
No. The cider comes from Big Hill Cideries.
Okay.
Amazing cider company. We love what they do. We
Nice.
buy their ciders.
Do you find people are ordering that a lot? Like, is that why you have it on?
Yes.
It's becoming more and more popular.
Surprisingly, we go through, a couple kegs, every 10 days,
Yep.
which surprises me.
I mean, we've been reading a lot. I keep seeing articles about things like, the lighter style things like the sessions, the ciders, the hard sparkling waters, whatever it is. Like all this stuff that's more like health conscious seems to be getting more and more popular. And when I saw that, I thought maybe like that was kind of the direction you were taking.
It's a gluten-free, everyone's concerned with gluten these
Yep.
days. So,
That's nice.
yeah. And it's another option. With our license, we're able to have PA spirits, wines,
Yeah, that's great.
ciders, meads. So we take advantage of it. But the cider, people love cider.
I love an old fashioned. Speaking of like liquors and stuff like that.
Just going old fashioned.
Yeah, I love old fashions. If I'm not drinking beer, that's my
Going
go-to.
old fashioned.
So what did I got to give a shout out to my buddy Chris. He's helping
Chris?
us out, pouring some
What's up,
beers.
Chris?
But what did we just get poured for us here? What is this?
Unicorn tarts.
Unicorn tarts.
This is the Pop Tart thing.
This
This
is
is
it.
it.
So tell me about it, John.
This is it.
What went into this?
A lot of Pop-Tarts. One day at BJ's, I saw a bunch of unicorn Pop-Tarts. And I think I shot Chris a bunch of pictures and was like, we gotta do this. And so, yeah, I mean, I loaded up the cart one day with about 50 pounds of Pop-Tarts and got some really strange looks in the store.
I'm sure.
The lady checking me out kind of looked very oddly at me, and I kind of said, well, they're on sale. I'm trying to stock up. And she kind of nodded her head slowly
You're
like,
okay,
yeah.
whatever you say, guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
So this is a, super juicy, fruity, Pop-Tarty, hazy concoction that we put together as our first kind of pastry beer.
Pop-Tarty.
Pop-Tarty.
That's
Definitely
probably a new one.
Pop-Tarty.
There's been Pop-Tart
You definitely
beers
get some
before, right?
breadiness to it. Not breadiness.
I got you.
And you definitely get some interesting hop characteristics, but we also have some fruit attributes that go into this beer, some cherry and raspberry.
So my daughter is a big unicorn. She's a unicorn girl. Abby loves the unicorns.
Yeah, do you have a unicorn by the front door?
We
I
got
feel like-
unicorns everywhere.
Okay.
We love unicorns in
I
this
s-
place.
When we walked in here with the kids, like that's the first thing we opened the door, and she goes, "I love unicorns. Look at the unicorns." It's like that's amazing.
And when I put Abby to bed, or she wasn't in bed when I left, but she had her pajamas on, and it was a big unicorn head on the front, and I was telling her we're going to go taste the unicorn tarts.
I think unicorns are hot right now. It's kind of like an in thing. I think
They've
So
been in for
hot
her
right
for a
now.
while.
They're very rare.
that's what I hear.
Very rare.
Yeah. So when I asked you what inspires you, I guess you could now say like trips to BJ's.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure.
So is that
It
when
can happen
did you
anywhere.
know you wanted to do a Pop-Tart beer, or did you see the Pop-Tart and then go, I'm going to make a beer with those
Pretty
unicorns?
much. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
This
I'm
is
super excited to try
literally magic in a glass.
it. Yeah?
This is magic in a glass. And this is what releases the day that this episode comes out today, Friday.
Yes.
Today.
This is magic in a glass.
It tastes like sprinkles.
It does.
It tastes like sprinkles. Straight up.
sprinkles.
Magic sprinkles.
Dude, it's got
This is incredible.
It's got a great juicy New England nose to it for sure.
It does. And then you taste it and it's like,
Raspberry
this is
sprinkle.
incredible.
Yeah, you're definitely getting that fruit flavor in there mixed with that juiciness, and then like you get that sweet Pop-Tart flavor at the end to finish it off.
Unbelievable. This
That's
is unbelievable.
crazy.
We like Pop-Tarts.
I like Pop-Tarts. I like this Pop-Tart
If
right here.
anyone wants a Pop-Tart, we actually have Pop-Tarts.
That's
When
exciting.
You should
take
actually
you up on that.
break off a piece of Pop-Tart and serve
And
it
shove
on the
it in the
glass for like a garnish when you
garnish?
serve this
Wow.
bad boy.
Wow.
At least take a good picture like that, like Levante does, where they have like the adjuncts around it.
Oh, we
Yeah.
have good pictures. Check out our
Yeah.
Facebook.
I'm going
Instagram.
to follow you.
Nice.
We have a
It's,
good video. Dylan, my son, actually
Yeah.
put together a really cool video when we were making the beer.
Yep, I did
on
see
our
that.
Facebook. It's kind of fun.
That's
it's got
awesome.
a bunch of unicorns dancing on it, and
No, that's a good beer. I'm excited for that.
So this is coming out tomorrow here.
yes,
Or where else can they get this tomorrow? I thought I saw Righteous Tap House has
Righteous
it tomorrow.
Tap House has it, Split Rail has it, and the Foodery in Phoenixville has it.
That's a cool spot.
Nice.
Have you been to the Foodery?
No,
That's a cool little spot.
I'm going to
And
Phoenix-
Sedona carries our beer also. Forgot Sedona Foodery, yeah, in Phoenixville. That's who's carrying our beer
Nice.
out there, and they're.
I have a job in Phoenixville on Monday, but everybody's closed on Mondays.
Yeah.
As far as breweries,
The Foodery is
Foodery's
probably
the
open.
Foodery should be open.
Yeah.
Then I'll probably check it out for the first time.
Nice.
That's the thing that stinks, man. Like a lot of times I travel on Mondays, and being a beer guy, you want to check out breweries, and everybody's closed on Mondays.
You get
for the most
nothing.
part.
We need a day to rest.
I believe it.
Yeah. Give us a day to rest.
I'm like
It's
one of
a
those
Monday.
weirdos. I don't like going out at night that often, so like I really like going to places around lunchtime. And I really like going to like places on off hours where it's not too busy and you get to kind of like experience without it being too crazy. But
This beer's so good, I just stole CJ's.
did you?
I did.
nice.
I stole CJ's. He does so much for me, and I take him totally for granted, and I steal his beer whenever I get a chance.
Took it from it.
I just took it. I was like, "Are you drinking that? No, not right now. I'm taking it right now."
Give me that.
There were crimes committed. I'm calling the cops.
Did Jackie try this?
She did.
I like it.
You like it?
Does she taste the sprinkles too?
Jackie is like I was before we started this show, which before we started Might Be Brews, I called every beer that wasn't a Bud Light Lime weirdo beer, essentially. Because like I didn't understand I didn't know the difference between a Kolsch and an IPA. I didn't know the difference between any of this stuff. And so it was just all weirdo beer to me. And the running joke for season 1 of Might Be Brews was that they were going to convert me into somebody who would actively seek this stuff, and that has indeed happened. And I'm really glad that you guys brought me here. Very glad that you brought me here.
Next step is his Untapped account. That's what we got to start.
I haven't done that
You
yet.
haven't started checking beers in
No,
yet?
I'm like
No.
I haven't caved to that yet.
going to.
It's something that like I've been holding out on, I think. But like, I gotta say, so far, I think my
Because you got to
favorite.
start voting on beers. You got
Right.
to start like rating beers
Yeah.
for
Right.
the public.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that my favorite beer that we've had here, hands down, Tang.
Whoa.
It's all tanged up.
Tang.
Wow.
It's my favorite. And I'm like, I like sours. You and I, I've had some sours with you.
For sure. I love sours. So I'm always on sours.
Sometimes I feel like I've had some really bad sours, but your Tang one was like probably the best one I've ever had.
Tang is
Honestly.
fantastic. I was very surprising. Just I don't know. I hadn't had that any sours from here yet, but I was just blown away by how much flavors in that thing. That's crazy.
If I was on Untapped, nothing that I had tonight would be below a 4.25.
4.25.
Nothing that I had would be below 4.25. 5 is the max,
Put a
right?
5. What's wrong with just putting a 5? You like the
Tang-
beer, put a 5.
Tang was
Come
a
on.
5. This Pop-Tart thing is a 5. I can't think about all the other names.
And hey, if you don't like hoppy beers, don't put a 1 and say, I
Right.
hate hoppy
See,
beers.
I-
It's like, well, then don't drink hoppy
Yep.
beers.
Nope, I haven't done that. I'm trying to think. I have given a couple low ratings, but that was all early in the show. And like since then, it's
You don't wanna do
It's
that.
been going higher because I actually like it. I've developed a taste for some of it, and it's been really cool going around trying different beers with these guys. It's been really interesting, and like I said, I'm really glad that we did this tonight because this is great.
That's me with smoky beers. I don't like smoky beers a lot.
Me either.
So when I check them in, I don't rate them.
Right.
I
Because you just
and
be
I
like,
write.
1 star,
Yeah.
I hate smoky
I don't
beers.
like smoky
Right,
beers.
right.
So I just leave
Perfect.
leave the rating blank.
That's right.
It's fine. So just to open up the curtain a little bit, and you might not even know this, the birth of this show basically happened here.
It pretty much did.
When we came up with the idea for the show, John kind of came up with the idea and brought me along. The first place we discussed it was here. We came here last year for the Jacksonville Eagles game in London, where you guys
Oh.
opened up early. It was like the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock game. And we sat here and watched the game and discussed what we were going to do before we went over to your place. And
I remember I had a cup of coffee. Then I had
I remember that, yeah.
a cheesesteak omelet, I think.
yeah,
And then had like a beer or two, and then we were kind of like talking everything out. But it is kind of interesting coming full circle. You know what I mean?
This is
So I guess we've been doing
Speaking of full
podcasting
circle,
for almost a year.
speaking of full circle, back to the coffee.
back to the coffee.
Wow.
So we got about 5 minutes left. So this will be our.
we have about 3 minutes.
Yes.
3 minutes
But we're
left.
gonna do what we want, Taylor.
So this is
This will be our night.
No, you don't. The song is going to start in 3 minutes, and it's going to end, and the show is going to end, John.
So this is Jumpy John's Java Stout. It's another John beer. When you own the brewery, you get the name.
You get the name.
Everything's
You
Yeah.
get to do everything's John. Exactly. So in this version here, Uncle John's blend of coffee is in here as well. So this has some Kenyan and some Colombian and I think some Rwanda coffee that gets infused in the cold stage of the beer.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's an oatmeal stout infused with coffee.
Yep.
It's really good.
You get a ton of coffee off
ton
of
of
this.
coffee. Ton of coffee.
Great amount of coffee on there.
Well, when
Yeah.
you roast your own coffee and then you brew your own beer, you just get super fresh and you get to use a lot of
Yeah.
ingredients as well. So we don't skimp on anything. It's a ton of coffee, but not burnt, roasted, very flavorful, very sweet, very fruity tasting coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a ton of flavor going on there.
Yeah, there's a lot.
The oatmeal is a good complement to the coffee, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good call. The only thing I'd say about me, and it's just my preference, is you've got like all these fantastic flavors there, but like every time I have a stout, I want it to be thick motor oil.
Wow.
Like I just want like a 12%, like, and not even the percentage thing. I just want it to be so freaking thick, and
You want the
chew
Russian
it.
Imperial stout.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would love. I mean, this is good, but I would love to have this like as like an Imperial, and see what would happen.
All right, give me some time.
All right.
Next time you guys come.
But this is good. Though.
Save it for the winter. That's a winter brew
call.
right there.
But that's a good point. That's a good point. This is a fantastic, tons of fantastic coffee flavors here, but it's still light enough. It's something you could drink in the summer for sure.
We'll do like Jumpy John's Drunken Java Stout.
There you go.
And just
Loaded with
spike it up.
alcohol. Just tons of lactose.
Just dump straight sugar in
Super
the
thick.
fermenter and just let it go.
There
To
you
just
go.
float to the bottom of any ocean.
It's fantastic.
It's really good.
I gotta say, man, John, thank you so much for having us. We weren't sure today was even going to happen with all this. Like,
It was
it
touch and go
bad.
there for a bit.
It was really bad. Yeah, it was
Look,
really bad.
I was
out there.
driving a huge truck today, and luckily, like, I was able to go right through some of these puddles. But like, right down the street on 30,
Terrible.
Yeah, I saw people in Downingtown by 322, where that bridge is. There was cars that couldn't even get through. But there's the music. I guess we got to wrap up.
There's the music.
Taylor.
It's going to end whether you want it to or not, John.
John, thank you so much for having us
Yes,
again.
thanks for
Thanks,
coming,
Jeff.
guys.
The
It's been a
beers are
great time.
fantastic. The
Thank you
space is
so much.
fantastic. I
Yeah.
hope everybody comes out here and checks this place out. Unicorn Tarts is out today. Go out there and get it. Come by the brewery and get a pint. I don't know, man.
Absolutely. This was a great experience. Thank you so much for having
Cool.
us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks for letting us do this here. This is the first time we've done like an on-site thing, so
Yeah.
this is really sweet.
We didn't screw up any of Taylor's equipment, so maybe we'll be allowed to do this again.
Not
Maybe he'll
yet.
let us do it
Yeah,
again.
it's not over yet. I still got to
Still
pack
time.
it away.
Awesome. But hey, if everybody's listening, thank you so much for joining us, letting us talk at you. MBNnetwork.com. Check. It's never been easier to find your favorite podcast. That's the line I'm looking for. Check out all the other podcasts. Patreon.com/MBN Network. Become a subscriber. Help us out. We'd really appreciate it. So that way we can do more on-site.
Yeah.
More on-site recordings. That's the name of the game. But anyway, have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Go to Stolen Sun.
Cool.